I grew up in a little village in England where there wasn't a whole lot to do, so I learned to play guitar fairly early in life. Listened to Delta blues, a lot of Lead Belly, and I listened to Bob Dylan a lot and learned how to write songs, write lyrics by listening to Dylan. And it was always writing and playing and writing always went together in my life. And it wasn't until fairly recently, about 7-8 years ago, that I really started to prioritize my playing. And I joined a classical guitar society in New York, and they've been really helpful in opening my horizons so that I can play what I can play now and think what I can think musically. But I'm self-taught. I kind of have an antipathy for teaching music. It's a bit like teaching somebody how to be funny. I'm not sure you can really do it. You can teach musical architecture, you can teach theory, but music, the emotion of it, that's teaching a feeling which I'm not sure is possible. The Journey was a soundtrack looking for a movie. It was originally written by Bernie Holland, the material called Diamond Dust, back in the 70s, and popularized by Jeff Beck. George Martin of Beatles fame, he wrote the strings on the original version, and it was a very soaring melody that I've tried to enhance. And to me it always evoked the idea of space travel, so diamond dust became cosmic dust, mankind being the diamonds in the cosmos. So the thread of the story of the movie is man's self-realization, the quest for self-realization. It starts off with a primordial soup. There's the DNA molecules that get created. There's communications. There's travel, and finally there is the spiritual realization that's depicted by the statues of Siddhartha that we filmed in a cave in Laos on the side of the Mekong River. Quite a stirring place. And that is the idea of the movie. It's man's quest for self-realization. Favorite musicians? They come in many shapes and sizes. As a guitar player, as an electric guitar player, of course I have to say Hendrix first. He kind of invented it. But I grew up on the Chicago school. People like Freddie King, Buddy Guy were tremendously influential. And their offshoots in England, Jeff Beck, Peter Green, Paul Kossoff, Rory Gallagher. They were all very influential on my playing, and I still love to listen to them. As far as writers go, Bob Dylan was the focus of my attention when I was a kid, when I was learning how to write to start off with. Donald Fagen and Walter Becker of Steely Dan later on. I think they have a wonderful compendium of songs that really stands the test of time. More recently I've been listening to the Romantics, the classical romantic composers like Debussy and Ravel and Satie, as well as the Baroque guys, Scarlatti and Bach, and of course Beethoven's wonderful. So they come in many shapes and sizes, my favourites. It's kind of all over the shop. I think if money were no object, I'd take a film crew on the road with a band, and I would photograph live concerts. I think I really want to perform live very much more than anything else these days, because I think the lockdown of COVID has insulated us from each other, and we need to get out there and commune. And I've been locked in a studio for way too long, and so the idea of being out there with a live audience is paramount to me right now. I would film that. That's what I'd do. Hardest part of making the journey, as is in any of the pieces that I do, like this, the guitar videos, is the fact that the distraction of recording the visual element along with recording the audio element puts a massive load on the performer in terms of distractions. So one's performance level tends to go down because of that. So it takes a lot more concentration and effort to get a take that's acceptable. So it was really a musical problem that was engendered by doing a musical video. And we're talking doing live playing, not lip syncing anything. Once that hurdle has been overcome, there is the visual elements of putting it together. That went fairly smoothly. The idea germinated, and then it was kind of off to the races. And I have quite a lot of fun putting together the little vignettes of videos and stuff, background that tells the story. That seems to come very easily. It's the main platform, the audio platform, that gives me the trouble. And really that's the focus of it for me, so it's probably understandable. The individual parts, getting those right, the arpeggiated piano part that's played on one of the guitars took years to get right. Getting the drums right was very challenging. But these were, again, they were all musical things. They weren't really visual things. Part of the filmmaking, as it were, that was a problem. Obviously, the care taken in camera position and lighting and the rest of it, and green screening, making sure that all that works. That's just time consuming. It's you may blow a whole take just because the light was very slightly wrong. Everything else has been perfect about it, but the whole thing's gone. So, but that is just simply a matter of time spent doing different successive takes. Actually getting the performance up to spec, that was the hard part. My next work is going to be based on Francisco Tárrega's Capricho Arab. So it's a dance. And that will be, again, a guitar performance. But I don't plan on doing too many more of these. I believe visually there's only so much mileage you can get out of it. And so I plan on moving into doing scores for films. And concentrating on the music, which is obviously my first love. These videos that I've created have been done essentially as for guitar aficionados, for the Classical Guitar Society that I belong to demonstrate guitar arrangements, and so they are made for guitarists essentially. And that's a limited audience, and I would like to expand the audience. And so that means going into a whole different genre. and I would like to collaborate with filmmakers with their ideas and do soundtracks for them. So that is my plans for the future, and I will be submitting this next video to the various film festivals around the world that have been so receptive to my work this last year. I'm very grateful for that, and plan to continue that modus operandum.